So last weekend, I went to a Yu-Gi-Oh! Regional up in Danbury, Connecticut, and while I was there, I decided to do something I love to do at these things. I just kind of, on rounds where I finished early, just sort of walked around and got kind of an idea of what was popular amongst Yu-Gi-Oh! Fans as far as more like the aesthetic goes, like mats, sleeves, deck boxes, all that. And I especially like to notice, like, the people who are using anime-themed stuff. Well, because I'm an anime reviewer, it's kind of my job to keep an idea of what's popular with the masses. And I was seeing a lot of your generic stuff. Your Sword Art Online playmats, your Attack on Titan extra deck sleeves, the creepy Tokyo Ghoul t-shirts that you have to explain to everyone you talk to, and of course the One Punch Man like quotes and stuff that people put pins on the backpacks. But I also started noticing a more recent anime. Okay, One Punch Man is pretty recent. But this was something from only about 4 months ago, which is rare, because let's not forget, anime is still a niche medium. It's getting much more popular and slowly becoming mainstream, but for something to get that big and starting to have, obviously this wasn't official stuff, it was mostly fan-made stuff, but for a lot of that to start coming out so quickly, that says something. And the anime I'm talking about is Boku No Hero Academia, the biggest hit of the spring 2016 season. Not my favorite, but the close second. This is a really good series and a really amazing series. And the reason I'm opening up with that is because I don't want to focus on my opinion. My opinion is it's great. I want to focus on why I think it resonates with people so much and why it fits with people so much. And without further ado, let's start that off with the plot. Boku No Hero Academia is set in a world where superheroes just exist. Like, they're just there. They give an explanation for it. It doesn't really matter. I assume. I don't know where the manga goes. But pretty much we live in this world where heroes just appeared, took over as like the dominant big thing in society, and pretty much we get a comic booky world. It's everything you'd imagine, everything you'd want. Okay, I know at first glance that sounds very similar to One Punch Man, and especially when you find out this is also a comedy, but it is very different. And where it's different is really where I think it shines. And a lot of that has to do with our main character, Midoriya. This kid is very different from Saitama, and basically he is someone who doesn't have superpowers. He isn't born with them. Everyone was expecting him to. He was looking forward to it so badly, but he's just a normal, everyday person. And so you think to yourself, oh, what? He's going to find out he's got the strongest power in the world and become like an egotistical jerk? Actually, no! Midoriya, like, that kind of thing doesn't happen. That's one of the great things about the show is every time you think you know what's going to happen, it will either A, do it, but still do it in a way that works, or B, throw a little curveball in there, and a lot of it is in the way it gets very technical. But apart from that, you have Midori, who is a superhero fanboy. He loves them. He keeps track of all the new ones. And the best superhero, the one he loves and idolizes the most, is All Might. Look at this guy. This guy just breathes fun. All Might is the strongest hero. He's the mightiest hero. He beats every foe. And without giving too much away, because if you haven't seen this series, you know how, if you've seen the series, you know how good the reveal is, what the sort of twist with All Might is, and I don't want to ruin that here. You figure out there's a twist very obviously, because that's kind of just how this stuff works. But essentially, Midoriya, after meeting him, gets an opportunity for superpowers, again, not trying to go too into this, and to do this, he has to go to the greatest Hero Academy, whose name I can't remember, because you'll just call it Hero Academy, because it's the only one we go to. Okay, that's it. That's our premise. So why does this resonate with so many people? Well, the first part of it is, yes, it's coming off the bat of One Punch Man, which is also set in a superhero world, so the anime community was already sort of in this mindset of a very comic book inspired anime, so there's that. But from there, you also just get what this show does so right, and that is the sense of joy and the sense of lovability, and just without any sense of being cynical or satirical or negative or anything. This is an innocent, fun show. You could show this to a 7-year-old. I think this is an anime you should show someone if you want to get them into anime. It's everything I look for. It has very linear ideas, very straightforward concept, but it takes it and does something very fun and interesting with it. Midoriya is a very likable character. All Might is very fun. You relate to Midoriya very quickly, and that is sort of where the show just takes off. On top of that, whenever we meet another superhero, it's also very creative. We don't spend a lot of too much time on other characters. It is mostly Midoriya's story, but everyone we meet is fun and memorable, and that's what I like. I remember them for who they are and what they can do, and it really just shows to show how the show puts a good impression. The only other character we spend a lot of time with, I mean, there's like the love interest, the best friend, there's all that stuff. The only other character is this guy whose name I can't remember. He is kind of our rival character, and we get one of my favorite themes in this show, the concept of how society builds us up between the rivalry of him and Midoriya. The idea is that Midoriya, no one has ever expected anything of him because he doesn't have superpowers. So he had to set his own standards and his own goals and his own way to achieve them, which you see throughout the series. This guy, on the other hand, was born with an amazing power to just blow shit up. And the thing is, he was idolized for it. People looked up to him, said he was going to be great and amazing, and it's completely screwed him up. And that is great. I love seeing that because I always can't stand it in movies and TV shows when someone's built up, you're the chosen one, you're going to be perfect, you're going to be amazing. Like, no, I feel like that would screw someone up. And that's what it did here, and I really love seeing that play out on screen. On top of that, the show has beautiful animation. This is by Studio Bones. I love their work. This is another great example of it. It's bright, it's colorful, it looks like it came straight out of an American comic book, but it still keeps the Japanese anime flair we love and what attracts us to this stuff. The world is bright, colorful. It's the kind of world I want to live in, and it's enjoyable. Where One Punch Man had a very standard color palette, which worked for it, by the way, this is very much brighter, this is more welcoming, enjoyable, everything stays very much more cartoony, which fits the show's lighter tone and happier atmosphere. And that happier atmosphere is what propels me through the entire series, because I'm just so happy watching it. There are several moments throughout the show where I'm like, I know what's going to happen, I know what's going to happen, but it happens, and it's like, oh god, I'm so glad it happened! Like, it figures out that way to key into just what we enjoy about stories, about superheroes, about action, adventure, about growing up. It brings it all together in such a lovable, enjoyable package, and it's a great series, and it deserves all the praise it's been getting. Now, if I were to pick a couple problems I had with this series, and these are just nitpicks, not much more, it's two things. One is, for a show that takes place over a long period of time, not a lot happens. Like, essentially, two things happen throughout the course of the 13 episodes, and it's all entertaining, all great, but I did feel at the end that I don't want this show to go down the shonen route of 5 episodes go by, we get nothing done, although that did kind of feel like it towards the end there. And the other problem I had is this show is very formulaic. Now, as I said, a lot of times I knew what was coming, but it still got me anyways. But there's also a certain point where I noticed the formula of this show, and that is pretty much in every episode, Midoriya comes across a problem, freaks out like a whiny child, and then proceeds to get a speech that is either motivates him or just encourages him to prove the person wrong, and then he just solves the problem. Again, always good consequences and use of all that stuff, but I still would have preferred maybe just to shake up more, or if we are going to not have a lot to do, let's at least go into characters a bit more. But again, all in all, this is a great show. If I had to pick between Japanese dub or English dub, I'd recommend the English. It's great casts both around, but for the English dub, the English actors I think bring more of that American comic book movie style into it. Like All Might very obviously tries to go with the old-fashioned, like George Reeves Superman or Adam West Batman. But not only just that, the animation is beautiful and gorgeous to look at, and I really preferred not having to follow subtitles when I watched the dub of this. So I think that's just better, just so you can just take it all in, not have to follow subtitles. But other than that, this is a great series, and I want to know what you think. In the comment section below, give me your thoughts on Boku No Hero Academy. Now that we're halfway through the year, what's been your favorite animes of the year so far? And as always, click to like and click to subscribe so we can see what other great things come out this year.